after reviewing the films and kind of felt like I did, we did enough things to really play well enough. Even when we were down 10, we just got that deficit and couldn't bounce back up on it. And most of it was poor shooting rather than poor defense. I thought our defense was pretty good. Rebounding was pretty good. Turnovers was pretty good. We didn't make some shots early. We made some shots later. I was pleased, but what I saw in both halves, if I was to be honest with you, as far as what we had to do to get better as a team, we gave ourselves a chance. We just didn't make some shots. We haven't been good offensively during this last 2 weeks, and we got some guys struggling a little bit, but thank God they're the three guys that maybe are my hardest workers. So I still think that's going to come. There's no doubt we're in the toughest stretch of our season in this final days with 6 games, and the number of games, I think 6 games against some of the best teams in the league, and we're on the road for 4 of them. That's no easy task, but it's also, as I said, a great opportunity for us. As far as Iowa, they had a couple of early season losses. Their schedule was a little flipped than ours was. They've been one of the hottest teams in the league in the last 4 or 5 games. They're coming off a big win over Ohio State at Ohio State, which was great. They've been better defensively than maybe some of the Iowa teams, and they're leading in scoring offense, and they've got the Keegan Murray, whose father is from Battle Creek, and who's was a great player at Iowa. He's got 2 sons that are there, both playing well. Keegan averaging 23 a game, but he's averaging 27 in the last 5 games. They got 4 guys in double figures. Bohannon's been there. Seems like we keep running into these point guards that have been there 5, 6, 7 years. He's been there a long time, but they've got multiple weapons on offense. And when you got a guy like Bohannon who can shoot it, and a guy like Murray who can shoot it, drive it, and post up, there'll be some strange matchups for us. At the same side of things, I think we've played some of the best defensive teams in the conference these last couple of games, and we'll see what they do defensively against us, and hopefully we'll get our offense on track. Questions?
I wonder, particularly after watching back that first half, you guys were right there with them, even though the struggles were there. What were some of the best things that you saw in that, and maybe that, because you kind of mentioned that it was...
Well, we wanted to do some things. We were going to double down a little bit more, and then Grandison hits that first 3, and he hits 5 threes. He's never hit 5 in a game, and he hits 5 in the first half. And it was only 1 from the double down. He made that one in the corner by some of you guys that sit there that shouldn't have gone in a million years. And that's what happens when you get hot, get in the zone. But as far as how we covered the other 2 guys, I thought we did Frazier didn't even score a point, barely got a shot off. Plummer hit 1 shot, and, that was about it. We did a great job on him. Covering Kofi. Yeah, I thought Julius did a very good job doing what you can do. I mean, he's a monster and gets away with some things, but I thought we did it about the way we wanted to in a scouting report, except that we would have maybe doubled a little bit more. Now, they are very good defensively, and I told you after the game, Frazier's got to be one of my favorite players. I know there's a lot of great players in this league, especially offensively. When you look at Davis and you look at the kid from Purdue is yesterday unbelievable, and Keegan Murray is, I think, unbelievable. But when you look at an all-around player that can get it to you with the pass, the shot, and the defense, we faced one of the best in him. So I thought we did enough good things. I thought we had few good looks. I wouldn't say a ton of good looks, but a few good looks, and we just didn't capitalize on them.
Tom, when you talk about the offense not being where you want it the last couple games, how much of that is just guys not making the shots that they usually make, or when you look at tape, what else do you kind of see going on there?
You know, a lot of it is the shots. I mean, we're just not making them. When you make shots, as Doug Herner, my old assistant, says, it cures all evils. You know, if you take a bad shot and it goes in, you feel better about yourself. That's kind of fool's gold sometimes, but it would be nice to have some fool's gold like the shot he made in the corner. But I think I don't think we're still executing as well as we should. I think it's helping that our point guards are getting better, not because they scored. They're just coming off ball screens better. It's going to open some things up. We haven't been doing that. And, I know it's a broken record, but if we have a guy posting up, it gives us more space on the perimeter. If we got that guy out on the perimeter, it's hard too. So we got to find the happy medium in there. But we've played some good teams. I mean, we just haven't played a complete game. Wisconsin, good first half. Penn State, a bad first half, good second. Penn State, a good 2/3 of the game, didn't finish. We're not playing the entire game. Fatigue, a little bit. I think I've beaten the hell out of Max Christie. Jaden has been playing a lot more minutes and better. In the last game, he didn't play as many because we needed to score some points, and that part of his game still isn't quite there yet, but love Jaden. So, we got to get Max some rest. We got to get Gabe going and find a way to do that. We didn't get many points off our break. That has been a continuous struggle for us because we're having to keep more guys in the rebound because there are some good rebounding teams in here. And that's what we've been working on lately.
Tom, with Keegan and his jump from last year to this year, I'm wondering what when you looked at him last year versus this year, where you see the differences? And is for a guy like Max Christie, is that a 1 year to the next type of example of what can be done with strength and a...
Yeah, I think Davis from Wisconsin, at the end of last year, you saw a little bit of Davis. I'm not sure you saw that from Keegan. I mean, you liked him, but, he came out of high school, wasn't where his dad, give his dad credit, I think. I think his dad deserves some credit. Put him in a prep fifth-year school, whatever, and then came back to Iowa. And so really he's, I think 3 years out of high school, I think. And it's just the experience and the weight room, the eating better, the strength is always big. But just the maturation of being a year older, for you, I, or anybody else is part of it. Your experience, your understanding of things. I think if you ask Max, is it harder than you thought it was, he'd say yes. But I think if you asked any player that, they'd say yes. It's just that Max has such high standards for himself. And I think what I'm amazed about is he hasn't changed his defense or all other things, which most scorers let that influence him. Max can be a better player for what he's going through. He's just, for himself and us, we need him to get through it a little quicker, and I think he will. I think he'll respond. But Keegan has, almost done an unbelievable job. I think Fran deserves some credit, but I think Keegan and his brother both. His brother's improved a ton too. Those two guys have improved a lot. And Patrick McCaffrey, wasn't that many years ago, that I saw him when he was a little kid and he had cancer, and so I have tremendous respect for him and what he's done because he's really making himself a player. And as he gets stronger, that kid's got a future too.
Going off of that too, with Max, Brad Underwood said after the game that, it was a point of emphasis to try to shut Max down. That's been happening as of late too. So how do you just kind of sit down with him and reiterate to him that, keep your confidence up because, they're essentially guarding you as well as they can,
Yeah, there's no doubt Frazier's their best defender. They put him on him. Sometimes they put him on Gabe, best defenders. But Max has gotten attention because I think Max can beat you off the dribble a little bit too. And, he's frustrated, but he's not bummed out. You know, I look at his face once in a while in there, which you probably do too. Talk to his mom and dad over the weekend, and for what he's been through and the number of minutes he's playing, I really reiterate, I think he's done a phenomenal job of handling it. It's not easy, but because he kind of believes in himself, believes in our process, I think he's going to get better, and he's getting better. And you bring it up. I mean, he's had a better freshman year than a lot of those players we're talking about that took monstrous jumps. As hard as he works, I think he'll take some jumps before the season's over yet. I really do. So he's not down. If you interview him, I don't think you'll see him down. Disappointed, of course, because he knows that we need him to score. And what he doesn't realize, we need him to score and defend, because that's the kind of player he is. And that's a lot to put on a freshman. But he's handled it, and I keep putting it on him, and I think two of us will grow from it.
Tom, you were refreshingly honest when you were 16-4. I think at one point you called it fool's gold. Mm-hmm. You cautioned us that you're not as good as you are. Mm-hmm. Your schedule got tougher. You said that, and it did. So all that said, where are you with this team right now? Are you discouraged? Are you disappointed? Are they an enigma to you, or where are you?
When I went to college, they had A, disappointed, B, enigma, 3, discouraged, 4, all of the above, and then E was always none of the above. And I think back, I think I flunked most of those classes. There were just too many options, you know. But I think I have felt a little bit of each. You know, there's no excuse for why you're playing so good at Penn State, and then you know, 2 turnovers, 2 bad shots. You know, you got to be more disciplined than that, and to win at this level. I think we're very inexperienced, not necessarily young, inexperienced, and we're trying to fight through that. And I think we've, I was encouraged. I don't believe in, there's no such thing as a loss that, you know, you came close, you know, those kind of things. I mean, this program's 25 years past that day and age. But what I said when we were winning, I didn't like the way we were playing. And everybody thought I was nuts, including my own staff. There were a couple of fist fights. Oh, I better not say that. There were a couple of brief arguments in our staff room on how we were playing, and, you know, coach, we're winning. Are you being too negative? No, I'm being a realist. I've been around this thing a long time. I know exactly what I think I see. And I did say it to you. That doesn't mean there was anything bad. I mean, I could say that about a lot of teams. You know, going into this last game, we were 1 game out of first. So does that mean that there were a lot of teams that we think are really, really good, including Illinois and Purdue, that have their struggles too? It's the nature of the beast this day and age, because I still say it's got a lot to do with, as you're all saying, the social media and what these kids have to go through. So I think that's that way all over the country, and I've made that point, which most people think are excuses, and it's not. But I do like the fact that we're starting to figure out that I thought we played up to our competition. Okay, we go there and we beat a good Northwestern team at Northwestern. Okay, we do that early in the year. We go beat a Minnesota team who was 10 or 12-0 when we played them, and fresh, you know, fresher than they are now. And we played pretty damn good up there. Then when those teams came here, it was like we weren't mature enough to understand that they're going to come back. You know, this is the Big Ten. So I think some of that happened. We beat Wisconsin over there. You know, I don't think it was cocky. I think it was immaturity or not understanding how it works, you know, that when a team gets beat, they usually come back with vengeance, you know, and then you know, you run into some teams like like Illinois, who, I mean, you got 4 or 5 year seniors and 5th-year seniors and a 6th-year senior, and, you know, they're a little better than you to start with talent-wise, and then they're a lot better than you to start with experience-wise. But we played well enough, even when we were 10 down. I mean, it was like we had one bad spurt, and then kind of stayed that way. And then I thought we made some progress, so I don't look at it as a loss that, you know, we played pretty good, so feel good about. I wasn't happy after the game, and I'm still not happy, but I'm trying to understand this team and grow with them, and I'm trying to understand our schedule and why it was that way, and then it gets compounded with the Michigan setback. So, you know, we've got our work cut out for us, but we do also have a lot of opportunities, Fred. We have a lot of opportunities in this stretch to get better, and I don't have to worry about people thinking that maybe we're just going to win a game because we beat them last time. Strangeness of this schedule, we're playing Iowa for the first time, okay? We're going to play Ohio State for the first time. We're going to play Purdue for the first time. I mean, personally, I hate that about the schedule. I don't like that at all, and it makes it more difficult when you're playing those games at the end of the year when you can't take as much time to practice because guys are worn out. So I don't like that about the schedule. I don't like it about any time you have to do that this late in the stage, but it is what it is, and we'll respond accordingly.
Obviously, it's a special environment that they're going to have there with recognizing Luka and recognizing Roy Marble, and I would imagine that's going to be an emotional night there. How do you?
Is the president coming?
Maybe.
I don't know, somewhere.
But you know what I mean? It's like it changes a building when you have something special going on. How do you kind of coach your guys to be mentally tough for that? Because that's something that you've talked about a lot.
Yeah, I'd say mental toughness isn't one of our strengths right now, so we will talk about it a little bit. We sort of brought it up. We'll talk about it tonight when we get there. You know, as a parent, as a coach, as a boss, no matter what area you pick, any type of leadership position, you can sell what you want to sell, but until people go through it, they don't really understand it. And so, you know, I'm trying to do that the best I can. That's where I think it really helps having McQuaid and Austin back a little bit. You know, I got a couple guys that players called them over the weekend, the former guys. You know, that's the way you try to get some help on that. But most things with these stubborn, more arrogant guys, and I say arrogant because they've always been told they're the greatest. I mean, it's not legal to tell a kid he's making a mistake anymore. I'm talking about growing up, even for a parent. So these kids, they already think they know it all, and it will be an electric atmosphere. And, you know, those used to be my favorite times to go into places and beat them. And that's the approach I'm going to take.
Tom, when you talk about the process, it seems like Jaden Atkins is a guy that's kind of adhered to that. He's a freshman. He's been in your rotation since day one. Now, 3 months in, you know, please correct me, but it doesn't seem like he's, you know, yearning to do any more than sort of what his role just is and has been. Is that the way I guess he's been, and how impressed are you by that sort of freshman's discipline to just sort of stay in his role and not want to chew off more?
Unless I read you wrong, you talked on that as a positive and a negative. You said he was doing a good job as in the process with his role, but now he doesn't seem like he wants to do anything else. Which
question he's asked
is it?
Not to do more. It seems like he has no rush to do more, I guess, even though he's been.
Well, that's another misnomer. If I gave you that impression as a coach, I want everybody to do more, but I think I understand what you're saying. Yeah, Jaden Atkins, if you took a poll on our team, he'd be one of the favorite players on our team. Because he is like, I got a couple guys that are obsessed with where they want to end up. He has got an obsession almost above them. He's a quiet assassin, if you ask me. This kid works on his game. He works on his schoolwork. I'm sick of seeing 4 points. He's been raised, and he works his tail off. Now, skill level, he's got to get consistent shooting. There's no reason he's shooting in the 50s from the free throw line. Those things play factors, but we were starting to play him. I think we played him 22 minutes one game in the last 5. We're starting to play him more, and then the game came where we just needed more offense, and we chose to go a little different way, didn't play as many minutes. But in my mind, Jaden will play 15 to 18 minutes this game, and I am really excited about the direction he's gone. I think he's one of those guys, you say Max, but I think you're going to see Jaden. He's 178 pounds. He's gonna grow both physically and mentally, and I think he's going to take a monster jump because he's a bulldog worker, and so I'm always pleased when a guy accepts the process, but I don't want him to be, if I don't have anybody complaining, I don't want that either. I want you to come in my office knocking on the door, Coach, why am I not playing more minutes? And I'll say, well, let's take a look at the stats. Let's take a look at the film. Let's take a look at what I think. The $1 million question is, can players accept that? He's one that I think can. That's why I think he'll grow. And so if it was a positive question, it's a really positive answer. Love the kid. I think he's making progress. I think he's gone from 8 minutes to 10 to 12. Like I said, he's played 16 and 23 in a couple games. And he gives us a lot of energy. And it's just to him finding, he's used to playing too where every shot's a good shot. And the good shots are ones that are capable of being made on a somewhat regular basis, not 50% of the time, but, in the mid to upper 40s. And that takes some time to figure out.
If I could quickly follow up, you said he has a higher obsession than some guys. What did you mean by that part?
He just works. What would Jaden do after a game like that? He'd probably come back in the gym and shoot. He's going home and he's probably already watched the film. He is obsessed with being great. He doesn't think he's great. He has confidence in his game, but in a positive way, not in a negative way. And I think a lot of kids nowadays already think they're there. I think he knows he's got some work to do, but he works, man. He would probably, like I said, if you polled our team, he'd be in those upper 2 or 3 guys. Does that count as another question, or are you going to let Graham say that was a longer question?
We were sitting here taking a nap asking when you asked about the radio.
Taking a nap? You did that during my game, and then ask questions. What are you talking about? First half. I think my guys did too. Yes.
Tom, understanding you might not want to get into this, but obviously a pretty significant event happened yesterday in Wisconsin. Just as a long-time coach in this league, what was your reaction, I guess, watching that happen?
Well, you're right. I don't want to get into it, but I have to answer something on it. I was in my office. We had a little walkthrough practice, a little film session because guys are tired, and I was meeting with my 3 freshmen, ironically, and I sat down and we're talking, and Mike Garland came running in and said, "You're not going to believe what's going on." And he told me a little bit, and I didn't even get out of my chair because I really didn't care. I was worried more about my team and my players. So I just said, "Yeah, I'll see you later." "No, you got to come see this. You won't believe it." And I said, "I'll see you later." I never left. And so about a half hour later, I went out and they showed it to me on the phone. And I just couldn't see as much. I didn't know as much. And I never know what happens because, there's so many things that go on that you guys don't know. And what I've been through the last 4 or 5 years, I'm not jumping anything. But the only thing I would say is it was bad for college basketball. What we're hoping to do at this time of year, with football going so much later than normal, the Super Bowl is later. It seems like every year, pretty soon the Super Bowl is going to be at Easter, you know what I mean? And it was the first weekend of no football and a chance for basketball to take the limelight, and it was a scary situation. The reason for it all, what I saw, I have no idea. I just hope that everybody learns from it, it gets better, and I guess it gave me a point when we met that night to reiterate to my players just how important it is to not get involved in anything. Forget the suspensions. I'm more worried about the injuries, and what happens to players. And didn't look good, but unlike a lot of people in the world, I'm not going to comment on something I don't know anything about, which is pretty common nowadays, both in the media and in the general public. And I'm not going to be one of those guys, and maybe I'll call both coaches and try to find out what the hell happened. Or maybe I'll just coach my team and do it after the fact.
Kyle took my question, but let me ask you this as a follow-up.
Go ahead, Fred, ask me.
In the social media world, which you love, and in the national broadcasting talk shows, there are suggestions, silly as they may be, that we should do away with the handshake line now.
Oh, my God.
Have you heard that?
Oh, my God, I have. And I do got to comment on that, since that's not insulting to anybody. That, to me, would be the biggest farce, joke, ridiculous nature of anything I've ever heard of. We've already taught these poor 18-year-olds that when you're told to go to class and you don't like it, you can leave. We've already told these kids if you're not happy, you can do something else. We've already told these kids that it's hard to hold them accountable, and now we're going to tell them to not man up and walk down a line on someone who's kicked your butt and have enough class to shake their hand is utterly ridiculous. So if the president said it, I think he's full of it. If the best coach in America said it, I think that gets me way more than this incident, because we're already teaching these kids nothing. And then we're going to do something like that. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. In the last 3 games, Trace Jackson recruited him hard. I don't like his dad. I love his dad. Great, great guy. I mean, I went down and congratulated him. I told him that glad he stayed another year. It's been fun to have him in the league. Frazier, I said to him in the line, a lot of people get credit on your team, but what you did today defensively, running your team, not taking a shot forever, I said, am I happy for the league that you came back? Now I said, for me, I wish your tail was out of here, okay? But those are the moments when I just think that you learn the most about people. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I didn't like it last year when some people waved, I didn't care if I got COVID. I'm going to go down there and shake the guy's hand. And I'm going to try to shake the player's hand. And I don't know what they do in every sport, but somebody says, well, they don't do that in football. Hell, are you kidding me? There's changing jerseys. I mean, I'm a little bit in the Magic Johnson thing when he said that Pat Riley would say, don't be talking to anybody from the Celtics before the game. But when the series was over, that's when the respect factor came. So the people that are saying that are the same people that don't want to teach players accountability, respect, or anything else. How about if we do this? Instead of not having the line, my buddy Mariucci, when he got the San Francisco 49er job, he had a deal where they practiced how they were going to go from the locker room to the field and played the national anthem and how they were going to tuck their helmets under their arm and went through the whole national anthem in practice. I thought that was awesome. So maybe we should teach people how to shake hands and what to do. And you didn't hit a sore spot with what happened. You hit a sore spot with that. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. If that's what we've come to, shame on whoever said it, in my humble opinion. I got to make sure I say in my opinion, because we're all allowed to have an opinion now. So in my opinion, that is asinine.
Kind of as a continuance of this all from your perspective, in a heated game like that, how do you kind of de-escalate, say, game's over, put it behind you, both as a coach and as a mentor for the guys? Because I would imagine that's kind of one of those things that, as a coach, you don't ever want to see happen.
Yeah, it is, and I have no idea. In other words, the first thing I said, was it a buzzer beater? Was it a bad call at the end? Did something fuel it? And then I found out they were down a lot, so I don't know what was going through his mind. I don't know what happened during the game. I don't know if there was a couple bad calls, if something happened. I don't know any of that. So I can't comment on that. I just say it's hard to de-escalate. I think what somebody should realize is these jobs that were high pressured are more pressure, because now you got to worry not only about your game and what's going on, but you got to worry about players and who's recruiting them off your team and who's going pro, and you just got so many different things. You wouldn't appreciate how difficult it is each and every game, but there's still a right and a wrong in this whole thing, and not shaking hands. That's typical of our country right now. Instead of solving the problem, let's make an excuse and let's see if we can just, instead of confronting and demanding that it changes, let's eliminate it so that we don't have those problems. Let's try to do that. That's perfect us right now. That's not perfect me. That's not happening here. So if some team doesn't want to shake hands, you're going to see 15 of my guys walk down and shake air. We're going to shake air, and I'm going to shake air, and then we're going to leave. Jesus. That's ridiculous.
Tom, in a greeting line like that, when the coach doesn't shake hands, what message does that send to the players, and what's the lesson that's taught?
Jack, there might not be a guy in this room I love more than you, because I've been with you for 30-some years, but not even you will bait me into anything. Listen, I do not agree with what happened. I do not know the circumstances to why it happened. I really don't. I don't. I don't like it for our profession, but there's one thing about me that I will say. I'm a Big Ten guy. I believe in my university, but I believe in this conference. And this conference stands up for, we're the second best academic conference in the country. We're going to give the Ivy League some credit here. We have been a leader in so many aspects of things. And so, when things happen bad, whether it be what happened to us here, what happened to Penn State there, I feel bad for the conference. I know everybody thinks you hate Michigan or Ohio State hates this. I mean, that's just normal. But I love the conference, and I love when teams in the conference do well. And I love the players in this conference, especially the ones that I watch sacrifice, go through the process, come back. I mean, those guys, I love those guys. And they're not even on my team, and I like them, because I think they send a message. So what happened, if it was just what happened, what you saw, I think it was totally wrong. But if there were things that brought that on, then I'd be willing to listen and see before I wouldn't pass judgment like a lot of people do this day and age, because I don't care if I'm the first click. It doesn't bother me if I got 50 calls last night. Coaches, national media guys. I proudly did not return one of them. And I don't do that very often. But the calls weren't to see how Tom Izzo was doing. The calls were to try to start friction and get clicks. I would help each and every one of you with every part of your job except clicks. I have no interest in helping you in that. So I can't feel good about it, because when I saw those people, when I watched it on a big screen, and I saw people swinging, and I saw the fans right behind it, reminded me of the Mellis and the Palace. And it bothered me. But what instigated it, I don't know that whole thing, and I do. I feel bad for Juwan. I feel bad for Guard. I feel bad for all of them that are involved in it, because nothing good comes of it. That I've learned in the last few years. Nothing good comes of it. So I'll just say that, you know what, I hope for everybody's sake, more than the punishment that's dealt, I hope the lessons have been learned and we move forward and we continue to have this, the best conference in the country. And I also hope somehow it helps Michigan State make a few shots. Then I'll really feel good. Anything else? Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.